Hey guys, Andy again, Spoken Label, back in the house on a Sunday afternoon. Yeah, you noticed no jacket on today because I'm absolutely destroyed. I was out last night watching the Manfred Del Monte reunion gig in Manchester Academy 2 in Manchester. And I'm dead on my feet today. It was a late one, and I haven't got the energy today to put dressing up formally. But the guest with me today doesn't hold that against me. So we've got the fantastic Ashley Edge with me today. Now, I've known Ash. Ash, we met over lockdown, didn't we, if my memory's correct?
So I'm pretty sure it was lockdown or
Yeah,
just
what?
after lockdown.
Yeah.
Very
Well, and I
seriously
met,
weird.
I know, and I met you about 3 or 4 times now, haven't I, over the time? Because we met you over at Clive Osmond's show in Stockport, and then you've been to
Yes,
Speakeasy three
a couple of
times?
times, three
Couple of times.
times I think now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
three
two or three
times.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I said,
good vibe there, mate.
no, thank you for that, mate. Appreciate it. Hoping to get to meet at some point later this year when you've got Charlotte to come with you because we've got, I'm going to mention it straight away. I know you've got meet up with Charlotte Falconbridge very soon for a snooker, aren't you, as
Yeah, we're
well?
going to the snooker final, the World
Yeah,
Championship.
yeah. We'll talk about that. I said
So
it's not
no
a sport I
numbers.
know. If it's darts, I might have come down and watched it with you, but snooker, I don't understand
Loud
it.
darts is for me. I like polite applause, a
Yeah,
good shot.
yeah. Not drunkenness. Yeah, like yeah, no, that's fair enough. So yeah,
No,
no.
I like to pretend I'm civil sometimes, and I use snooker for that.
Yeah. Anyway, people might have guessed there of Ash, like me. Ash is. I'm not going to use the word. Oh, give me the word, Ash. Approachable, down to earth, thoughtful, intelligent, gentle.
Thank
I
you.
haven't got half those words up in bollocks, aren't they? It's all right.
Gushing over me. I am definitely down to earth. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't suffer airs and graces, and I am approachable, most definitely.
yeah.
I like to think I'm kind.
Oh, you are. If you deal with me, you've got to be kind. So now, obviously, we're here to talk about Ash's creativity, not snooker. Or we could go into football, but we will be here for a
Oh no,
while.
we'll be here all day.
Yeah, I know what team Ash follows, and Ash knows what team I
Yeah, I've
follow.
had to
So yeah,
pause the match for this, just so you know.
yeah, exactly. That's it. Dedication to the craft. Now, we're talking today, Bash. This is the second time you're on. You were on about 18 months ago. Previously, you were, and
Give or take.
yeah, and since then things have changed a bit for you. Like you've got quite a few regular new projects on the go now. This is why I want you on today to talk about these. Now, before we do that, obviously we need to make people a bit aware about your creative background. Where did
Yeah,
all this come from originally? Because we need to know so we can move to the
yeah.
next bit.
I know that it will have been covered a little bit in the
Yeah,
last podcast that we did together, so I don't want to rehash, but at the same time, you've got new people listening that
yeah.
might not have heard that one. So I've been writing since I was six. It's innate in me. It's how I breathe, it's how I think, it's how I process. I've got ADHD, so I often struggle verbally, like orally. Verbally means all communication. So I often struggle with my words, my speaking orally, proving that by stuttering now. But when it comes to getting it on the page, I can stop and pause and breathe and think and get out of my brain what I really want to say. And that's where I think it started from. But doing that for everything, whether it be football or nature or something bad's just happened at home or whatever, everything can be written about and everything needs to be written about, I think. So yeah, that's so since it was six, and then at 16 I started taking it seriously. Is the cliff notes of it. When I submitted for the first time, which is always that brave move that we all decide to do at
Something
some
to tread,
point.
yeah.
But yeah, I was 16 and it got accepted and massively complimented by the editors. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll do this at university. And that was my life decided at that point. The feeling I got from knowing it was going to be in print, combined with the fact that I love doing it, just that was it for me. I was like, that's it. I'm going to be poor for the rest of my life. I'm going to be a poet.
What's happy? What's happy? Right. So definitely. So now we could refer to your book and stuff, but I want people to go and read your book anyway. And that was even that was from the other a couple of year or two ago now. So
Yeah.
what this has led since last time you had you on to is a number of projects.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know which one came first here, so you're gonna have to tell me which one came first. Was it Prickly Pear?
Um, Between Poetic Edge, the
Yeah,
workshops, and
workshops
Prickly
and
Pear.
Prickly Pear. Which came first?
I actually can't remember now.
Oh, I should have known knowing
They
you
were
that.
very close alongside each other. I'm pretty sure the workshops came first though, by a couple of months. Yes, I'm pretty sure because by the time I was doing Prickly, I'd hosted a few times and so had the confidence to do the first Prickly, which was a one-off event for neurodivergency, neurodivergencies, should I say. There isn't just one. We're a whole spectrum of all different lovely craziness in our brains. So we did a special and it went so well that we then started doing Prickly Pear. But so no, the workshops actually will have come first a few months earlier. So it stemmed from wanting to be a tutor more than wanting to stand on stage and be the compere or host. I always looked at compares and hosts and thought, oh, God, could you imagine doing that? Oh, that's a bit brave, isn't it? Oh, I could never do that. I'd love to do that, but I could never do that. Then I just accidentally fell into it by wanting to guide people and inspire people in my workshops and get people writing and stuff. And because it was on a smaller scale and it was, a few people, not a room of people,
Yeah.
it built up from there. And then, yeah, suddenly I'm getting asked to host people's open mics and I had fun with it. So I think maybe that's why I got asked more and more as well.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, of course.
yeah,
Brilliant.
me and Kate work really well together. It's like Tweedledee and Tweedledum,
Now, obviously,
or
Kate,
alphabet.
Kate, we need to mention is Kate Jenkinson.
Kate Jenkinson,
Now,
yes.
you may have mentioned
My
this in the
husband as
last
well, by the way.
podcast. How did you and Kate first meet? I don't know if this is mentioned in the last podcast. I don't think it was.
We'd we competed with each other in a poetry slams, so
Oh, yeah.
online poetry slams during lockdown. Um, I don't like telling this story because I won, so
Oh,
to ego much, but it's much better when it comes out of her mouth because she came second, a very, very close second to me. But yeah, we ended up facing off against each other, and I thought she was amazing. She thought I was amazing, and neither we might be competitive, but it's the healthy kind of competitive. We don't mind losing. Yeah, that's the trick. Love winning, but be okay with losing because you've not lost. You've still won because you've still stood on stage if it's a slam and it's poetry. You've still shared your words. You've still hit people in the feels. You've still done all that gorgeous stuff. Winning is just the cherry on top, and not everything wants a cherry. So, but so yeah, we met competing each other against each other in slams, and then we met in person at Cheltenham Poetry Festival. I think was the first time, but she'll know better. I say this like she hasn't also got ADHD. We met a few years ago and we sort of went, oh yeah, fist bumps, and we've been mates ever since, is the best way to put it.
yeah. You do. It's
But yeah,
it's interesting that you think about it. Look back at like over lockdown and stuff, where like I've made like you well. I can't use one of these friends. You be people you meet over Zoom and stuff over lockdown. It's fascinating. Like 5 years later, it's changed the way the world operates. I think Zoom has, and it's helped us all make friends much further afield when everything might have been much more closer circle. Things have changed.
this is it. We've got friends in America, in Asia, Canada, Germany, Philippines, wherever, all over the
Yeah,
world, people come online, and online means there's no distance is a barrier, and no culture is a barrier. So we learn more cultures, and we become better people as a result. I think
yeah,
more empathy, more sympathy, more awareness,
yeah,
more
definitely.
wisdom. All of that comes from it. I think I've grown exponentially because of the people I met in lockdown and the diversity of it all, the good and the bad. So yeah,
Yeah, it's everywhere you go. I've sworn once, so I'm going to swear again. There's still plenty of cunts out in the world, and you
oh
do
yeah,
stumble
oh,
onto them sometimes. But yeah, the good thing is it helps you realize there's nicer people, and you never know what you're going to bump into. So
this is it.
I
And
agree.
then we meet in person if we can, and if we can't, that's still okay. We can still Genevieve Ray, I've yet to actually hug physically, so which proves that online really is an amazing thing sometimes when it's used for the right reasons. Um, so yeah, and then sometimes you get to meet them like we've met a few
Yeah,
times in person because we're
exactly.
not actually far away from each other. We were miles apart in life, but when we've met through this one thing, this joint love of poetry,
Yeah,
we've had that connection, and yeah, I think it's gorgeous.
yeah, me too. Me too. I agree with you. Now, obviously, we've talked about the workshop. Now, you better tell us about Prickly Pear then, because obviously that's been going for just over a year now, is it? Am I right, or has it been
Yeah.
longer?
2 years now, I think,
Two
nearly.
years, yeah. I thought it's been
Pretty
over. I couldn't
sure.
believe it's been over a year. I couldn't remember if it's two yet. So
Pretty sure it was NaPoWriMo 2 years ago. The memory's coming back to me now, and it was a special event for at the end of
that
NaPoWriMo.
was it. That was. I couldn't remember if it was last year, or the year
Yeah,
before. That's why
yeah.
I'm getting mixed up
Overall
myself.
knowledge of urgency related.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So we did that, and she had me and Phoenix Ruddock, and somebody else. I can't remember who though. It's going scattered now. So yeah, but that was 2 years ago, and there's a lot that's happened since then for all people involved. It's the beautiful thing about it, is the best way to say.
yeah, yeah. No, agreed. Agreed. Now, obviously, with it, you and Kate were in Prickly Pear now for nearly 2 years, and how has the night developed over the 2 years? It would have changed for it to become
Yeah,
the beast it is now, I think.
I think the core value has always stayed the same, which is that everybody is really welcome and we love all voices. But what we really love to lift and highlight is people with that have been disabled by society, whatever those conditions are that we struggle with. We really like to raise awareness about that. So we do encourage people to come with poems about their struggles, whether it be autism and ADHD or multiple sclerosis, ME, whatever the depression, all things count. Mental health definitely counts. Everything counts. Fibromyalgia we've had covered. And I think that it helps us all grow as people to understand what other people are struggling with. Like diabetes, the unseen things that, we have to live with and struggle with, that we maybe don't know our friends are struggling with sometimes. And that raises awareness and helps us to be more empathetic as people. But also, I do like the odd football poem to be thrown in, please. It doesn't need to all be heavy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, but also, because of that, we account for people's accessibility. So, reading with captions. We give structure for the event for those that are neurodivergent and need to know what's going to be happening. So we give a running order. And if we have features and they have certain needs, accessibility needs, we make sure they have them, especially like autism's a good one. I know this one personally, that's why I'm using it
Mm.
as an example, not to say that it's the main one at all, just that that's the one that I personally live with. Being able to put their mind at ease. So when Charlotte Falconbridge performed for us. It was her first ever feature. She was nervous as all heck. So we messaged back and forth. It wasn't just a case of, hiya, I'm your host. I'll see you on the day. Bye for now. It was, what do you need? How are you feeling? Stay calm. Do you want some help with working out what poems you're going to perform because you're not sure what to account for and things like that? And literally hand holding and helping first time performers as well as people that might struggle with their nerves or whatever it is. And I just think you get such a better performance from them. I think they fly higher for it. Because they've had a positive experience. And then if they have future experiences that are negative, they know they can still come to me and talk to me about them and work through them and find out it's probably nothing that they've done.
Yeah, it's
It's
just a
just,
dodgy night, yeah.
it was just a dodgy night, and that does happen. And having somebody to talk to about it is yeah. Basically, the gist with me is that I don't go away once you've worked with me. I'm there afterwards as well. I work as a friend, not just as a colleague kind of vibe. Um, and yeah, so people that have featured for me before, they still come back to me for advice and stuff and reassurance if they've got a feature. Um, ask them to sit and we'll go through their poems. I love it. I get backstage pass basically to
Yeah.
building their set, and I love that. I love
Oh,
to
yeah,
be
you
able
do. Can't blame you. Can't blame you. Same for me with podcasting. Like it's you, when you make a friend sometimes, and you know who I know. Sometimes you do. Like it's you're there with them for as long as you're one or both of you are creative, and that could be years away. So
yeah,
straight away with that. So now, obviously, in your case, B, this has now led into Poetic Edge Publishers. Now,
yes.
yes. Now, this one I wasn't expecting. I'm delighted you're doing it, but this started last year, didn't it? I believe. Was it last year?
October 2023 was
Oh,
when the
year
the
before.
germination, when
Oh,
I
yeah.
got the seed and I went to Kate Jenkinson and we had a conversation, very ADHD conversation. She'd submitted somewhere and they'd said no. Fools, fools, I tell you. And that's literally what I told her. I was like, they are fools. If I was a publisher, I'd bite your hand off to publish you. I'd love to publish you. In fact, actually, what I've been thinking about doing is going into publishing. It's just that this is the first time I've said it. And she's like, well, have you now? And because she's like me and she loves a good project, we said, well, I'd love to learn, but I'd need somebody that was willing to be my guinea pig and let me make those mistakes if I do make mistakes and learn how to publish somebody. So I'm not going to have all the answers straight away for you. I might have to go away and find the answer and learn with you. And Kate was very much up for being that guinea pig. And we spent 12 months on her book, doing a detailed edit because that's my skill set is editing. So the edit took several months, and cover art we used somebody called G. Sabini Roberts. So name check for them because they're phenomenal, and check out their work definitely. All over Facebook they are, and Instagram. I know they're definitely on. I don't know about other social medias, but G. Sabini Roberts definitely worth looking up. They did the cover, and it was stunning, and it was exactly what Kate wanted. She wanted it like a blackboard, like where you scratch, when you scratch and get
Yeah.
colours underneath, and you can create a picture. She wanted that kind of feel for it, which is exactly what G gave us. So yeah, that's where it started. It started with me talking to Kate and saying, would you be my guinea pig and let me learn the industry basically and learn the skills so that I can implement them for other people, because I see a lot of indie publishers that just take the manuscript and just run it through a printer is the politest way of putting it. And that I'm
I know
seeing
two. I know
books on the
two.
screen.
I know two.
I opened a friend's book and there was a typo on the first page and it made my blood boil for them.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no edit, there's no care, there's no love, there's no nothing going into this. This is just somebody taking a cut for being the printer, and
Yeah.
that ain't on. So for
Yeah.
me, it's all about the editing process, getting the cover right, making sure that that collection is on point. So I don't just get one proof copy, I get a couple. I make sure that it is that there's no missing full stops. Do you know what I mean? I use my autism like I'm trying to think like magic. It's my
Yeah.
wand. And yeah, I love that side of things. I'm a line editor, I'm a content editor, I'm a proofreader. I lean into those skills for that. Um, that's where my strengths are. And so you end up with a beautiful quality collection then. That yeah, we've got 3 collections out now. So
Yeah.
we've got Kate
Sh-
Jenkinson,
Kate Jenkinson, then you did an anthology, didn't you? Which I'm
an
in. Your
anthology.
your kids animals anthology. I forgot the bloody name of it now.
Yeah, you're in it as well, you toe rag.
I know.
You can't
I
even
know when I
the name
can't
of
remember the
it.
name of it.
Cheeky. All about animals, it's
That was
called.
it. That was it. And
So yeah,
I did one of the facetious cheeky poems in it called Animals in their
it's
bags. Mental that piece.
real mixed vibe in
Yeah.
that book. It's a proper roller coaster of happy, fun, silly, sad, scary, dark. It covers everything. It covers environmentalism with animals. It covers pets. It covers farm animals. It literally takes on the whole broad spectrum from the sky to the sea and the land in between. It's a cracking collection of poetry that other people, it's an anthology, so it's mixed authors, ranging. I think the youngest person had a that's in there was it was an older person. They sent it, but they wrote it when they were 8, and it's just this beautiful little poem about a budgie,
Wow.
because it's not always about being really intellectual and academic in your poetry. Sometimes 4 words will do it, and that's all it needs to be. And it's just a beautiful little pearl of a poem. So it's got a real mixture in there of styles and voices as well.
Brilliant.
Which, yeah, and we've got another one coming out in
But I would
June,
say
but
you've
that's
got, yeah, but I say you've another anthology on the way, haven't you, in that one? So yeah. Tell us about this anthology
all,
in June then.
so June, yeah, all about all about animals. No, Away with the Fairies, but it isn't just fairies. Although a lot of people didn't listen to that brief when I said not just fairies, all creatures that are mythological, please. So there is a lot. There's going to be a lot of fairies in there, but that's fine. They are the vein. They are the heartbeat of it, and then throughout that there will be dragons and there's some Chinese mythological creatures coming in there. There's Oh, I can't think now because I've got somebody else's manuscript in my head. But yeah, there's a lot of different mythology in there and fantastical creatures, and can't wait to build the manuscript for that. Reading the submissions was fun. Like, just I was sent to different worlds, and I absolutely loved it. For different reasons to the animal one. So hitting another one of my loves, which I think is important for me when I'm picking poetry, is that I've got to love it first. It might be amazing on paper. John Keats is amazing on paper, but he sends me sleep, you know. So
Yeah,
it's poetry
brilliant.
is subjective. It's always subjective. If I say I don't like your piece, that doesn't mean it's a bad piece. It just means that I don't personally like it. Like like music, I don't like Beyonce, but I think she's phenomenal, right? But my
Don't even
ears are not a big
start
fan of,
even. I just think she's shite to
right?
us. So I don't
I
even.
like some
I don't even think she's
awesome
brilliant.
music.
I just think she's shite, and I'm sticking to that one.
No, I think she's incredibly talented, but it's not my cup of tea, is what I'm saying, you know. So I think that the same applies to all art.
Yeah, of
You know,
course.
there's a reason that there's a banana on a wall with a piece of gaffer tape on or duct tape on. And that works for some people, and it has a message. So it's all subjective. So if you ever get a no off me, people, please don't be dissuaded by that no. It's just for that one reason. Like maybe that's not what I'm looking for right now. Rather than the piece is bad. No piece is bad, you know? It's just what suits our tastes. But
Nice to
yes.
put. Nice to put indeed. Now, obviously, moving on beyond this clip book out in June. Also, Christopher, we need to backtrack 'cause you've just
We
bought out your
do.
second.
We've
We
got
yeah, we're
literally,
going backwards and forwards in. My
I know
this Brexit
we're
brain
in
can't
proper.
cope.
Well,
Yeah,
there's no linear
yeah.
structure to this interview,
Not when
Andy. I
fucking
hope you don't
not me
notice
around there, and not with you around. There's no
that.
fucking chance, right? Now we need to backtrack. Obviously, 'cause
Yes,
we've said this twice already. This writer's name. You were
Genevieve
just
Ray.
Genevieve, yeah, who is due on Spoken Label in about a month's time. So when I was talking to her
Yes, big
directly
shock
about her
that.
book, and I'm still looking forward to it. She's been grateful on messaging doing me. But yeah,
She
now
is
now
fun.
tell me, obviously, first of all, then, because I know you know Genevieve before
Mhm.
this book came out,
Yes,
didn't you?
she'd
How did
featured
you
for
to
me at
meet?
Prickly
Yeah.
Pear. So we'd already heard her a few times at different events, and I'd seen her feature at other events. I think she'd featured at Beehive, maybe. She'd also hosted at Crafty Crows, just to name check some other great open mics, because it's not all about me. It's about the community. Crafty Crows, she's hosted a few times. So I'd seen her and heard her, and me and Kate Jenkinson both loved her. So we had her as a feature for us for Prickly Pear. And she's amazing. And then she came to me just before I went live with the actual publishing, because I only went officially live on January 1st for submissions anyway. So she came to me in about October and went, "Are you taking submissions?" And I went, "Technically, no. Why?" Maybe send it me anyway, because I know what it sounds like, but I don't know what it looks like. So send me what you've got. And I read it and I was like, yeah, I can work with this woman. This woman's got some skills here. She could do with some editing skills, and she will not be offended at me saying that. She loves that I've taught her things. But that's where my degree comes into play. You know, that's where it pays for itself, kind of thing. And that information isn't easily accessible. You can go to 100 workshops and still not know it all. So to have that condensed kind of one-to-one sessions that we had, where we went over word for word on some of her poems and rearranged and thought about the line breaks and thought about the grammar, thought about how its placements on the page. Why, what are you saying? What's the message, the core, you know, the core of this poem? And her poetry dances, and it's got a rhythm, and it feeds the soul and the heart. So for me, I wanted it to dance on the page. So there is some dancing on the page, some space, some use of the actual full page, intentionally. Use those when you read it, use those breathers. That space is there to catch your breath and to feel like you're dancing all over the place. That feeling you're feeling, that's what we want. Yeah, she's amazing. And it's a coming of age sort of collection, I would say. It's about her coming to terms with who she is, all her history when it comes to ancestry, because she's mixed. So she's, I think it's her dad that's British, and her mum is I'm so scared if I say the wrong country, I'm gonna.
Should we just move? Should we just move on? So does that really don't put your foot in your
Another
foot in enough?
country.
Yeah.
So she's yeah, and because of that, you've got two different cultures, and her parents love each other still and are together and stuff. So she's been grown with both these cultures, and I just think that's gorgeous. I'm like, oh, look at that beautiful marriage of culture and how you've come together and produced this beautiful woman with Genevieve with a power in her, and she's a very strong woman. Do you know what I mean? Like she won't take no shit, um, but in the right way, and she's very caring. She gives maternal vibes herself, even if she doesn't know that, as well as the fun ADHD bouncy neon lights vibe. And you get all of that in this collection. You get all of these facets of Genevieve because people are not one dimensional. So you get to see a lot more of Genevieve than I think even she was expecting to share kind of thing. Yeah, I'm really proud of her. And it's a beautiful collection and it's got some really poignant poems in, some fun poems. Yeah, it's got a bit of everything. Read
Good.
it.
Good. I'm looking forward to it. I've read an
Buy it.
extract of it.
It's out now.
I've read an extract of it. It's superb.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I have to ask you this, and there's no disrespect to either of you two writers so far bought out. Each book I always believe is a different beast anyway when you're
Yeah.
editing it. Have
Okay.
you learnt much about yourself from doing the first
My
book
right.
onto
Yeah.
the second book?
Yes, my writing is my voice is evolving as well because I'm immersing myself so deeply in their voice and making sure that if I make a note, it's not what my voice would say, it's what their voice would say. So I'm almost having to put myself in their shoes, kind of thing, and think, well, Kate would say it this way. She loves science and that kinds of words, and she has a certain vernacular, whereas Genevieve is her words pop more and there's more colour in them and more surrealism as well because I've had to put the reins on her with the surrealism. Like you want your reader to know what you mean though still. So something I do. So I also noticed some of my old similarities and it's made me bring the old me back out again. That I would say was actually stifled at university. Um, it's because I can see how to make it accessible for somebody else. I can now see how to make it accessible when I write surrealist poetry. Um, so yeah, my voice, I'm a lot more considered about my words. I edit more when I'm writing the first draft. My first draft is a lot tighter now because I'm heavily editing every day. What I try not to do is, and this is probably why I'm writing less, is when I am heavily in a manuscript of somebody else's voice, I find it very difficult to write my own stuff because I have been influenced by their voice and it's not them. But sometimes it's good and sometimes it's healthy and I let it come out and something new comes out. I definitely felt that after Kate's book and I've felt it again, but differently so after Genevieve's book. So my next author, who I'm now immersed in, I'm sure his will do the same and teach me different things because we're all different writers. It's one of the things I love about who I'm picking. I'm not Jamiroquai. I don't play the same song every time with different title. It's every poetry collection has something different to say. Kate Jenkinson is so different to Genevieve Ray, and Genevieve Ray, in turn, is so different to, and I will name check the next author that I'm working on since we have signed contract and I have gone through his manuscript, would be Hongwei Bao from Nottingham. And he's really queer and gorgeous and gay man and yes, and Chinese and British and so different to Kate and Genevieve. And then the people that are coming after him, who I can't give away the names of, unfortunately, but watch this space, they are all standalone, unique poets. With me as a publisher, you're not going to find that you get the same style, where some, you sort of know what they want from you. That makes it harder to submit to me because, I'm not, you're not looking for a specific style. But what it does tell you is I want poetry that speaks of you, the person, and is really, truly your voice. It doesn't need to be that you've gone through some kind of trauma at all. I know one of the future authors I'm doing, her poetry is, there's going to be lots of ekphrastic poetry in there, nature poetry. and about the environment and
Is that
the
the
climate change and
second
things.
poet you told me to make sure I got this
It
right?
is, but we
Yeah.
can't say the
No,
name because I don't
legally
want
I can't
justice
say. Yeah, I
contact
have
with
been
it.
told. Yeah, this writer is a fantastic writer. I know who you mean.
Yeah, you
Right.
know them.
Yeah.
I am like, I can't believe they got turned down by the name. It was only just, so I'm like, oh, come here,
Yeah.
you. I'll
Yeah.
take you
It's same
down.
me. 'Cause there are people wondering, is this the same publisher that turned me down? And I got quite a detailed letter back off them as well. So yeah, it's a good choice of them to use. Good luck
Yeah,
with mate
yeah.
straight away.
Beautiful imagery with there. So again, completely different. So if you're looking to submit, my submissions are closed at the moment, but they'll be back open in autumn. That gives you time to prepare to submit to me. Uh, I'm just after stuff that's really true, and also people that are willing to accept that I am an editor and I am going to put my red pen on your poems, but I'm going to do it whilst I put my arm around you. So I'm going to make lots of suggestions, but they're all to strengthen the work of the poet, which is what I want to bring to publishing as an indie publisher. Yeah, it means my profit margins are less because the workload that I'm putting in is massive compared to a lot. But that's because it's not about the money, it's about the collections
It's
and
about the
about
love.
doing poets community justice. Yes, creating collections that are worthy of the poets, because we know you're a poet and the people listening are all probably writers, I would assume, or if they're not writers, they're interested in writing. Writing is hard and draining and takes a lot out of us. It's not an easy thing. We're not just throwing paint at a wall like a decorator, and even that takes time and stuff. We're the artists, we're the Van Goghs, we're fine art. Do you know what I mean? But with poetry, and so to know that somebody spent hours and hours and hours working on those pieces for somebody to then just print it off and go, there you go, you've got a book, and not having gone through it and made it the best for that person, I think's really, really cheeky.
Yeah. No, it is. It
And
is. I know.
what
I
I'm trying
know.
to fill the
Yeah.
gap of.
I know the book you're on about with the poet before that has a bit of typo in the first one. And I know somebody else who I'm not going to name has been on Spoken Label as well. And when I saw the manuscript, I was actually shocked and it
Yeah.
shocked basically in that way. I'll tell you what it was later. Okay, I'll see if it's the same
It's not fair
person.
on them.
No, it's not fair on them. Not fair at all. It's unfair on them. A good publisher is a conscious publisher that will help you out. So respect you, mate, straight away with that. Now,
Exactly.
I
It's
want to give you a
the
chance,
red
obviously,
pen
to read
only does
out.
it.
I'll read
Go
out
on,
some of the
sorry.
stuff for us. I want to give you a chance to read out some stuff for us anyway in the second half.
Yeah.
So now, obviously, I know at the moment people are wondering about your work. You're at the stage in your writing where you're living your life. That's a good
Yeah.
way of putting it at the
It's the
moment. That
best way to put it. Poets never, writers, not just poets, but writers in general, we never stop writing, even when the pen or the keyboard is not in our hands, because living is writing. So I'm in the living stage of writing at the moment. There's a lot going on behind the scenes with my personal life that I'm just trying to live, and afterwards I will then process and write. I know some people write in the moment. I don't. I'm a marinader. I like to it's the Spanish in me. We like to marinate our food. We like to marinate our poetry. So I like to sit on it for a bit and take my time with poems. They don't just come out in one big gulp. They can take some take years, to be fair, before they're perfect. But usually it's a couple of months before I would say that a poem is okay to share, sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
no, agreed. Yeah, sometimes it can be quick for me, sometimes it can go for years, and I know exactly what you mean with that. Social media plugs, anyway, Ash. First of
yeah,
all, then, where can people get hold of the Poetic Edge? Oh, we'll give them Poetic Edge Publishers. And it said Poetic Edge of Ashley Publishers, and a second
well,
Poetic Edge Ashley Publishers. Yeah,
the simplest way is to just Google Poetic Edge Publishers, and I will be your top search. And I've got a website which is www.poeticedgepublishers.com. So really easy to find, which is why it'll come up first in your search engines. You can also find we've got a Facebook page. So again, just type that in. I'm going to give Andy some of my links though, so you can share them in the little spiely bit that you do for people. And
yeah,
again, with my poetry, it's at ashleyedge.poet in most places. So Facebook, don't do Twitter. And yeah, I'm dead naming it.
yeah.
um,
Well, I don't worry
and
about it,
what?
right? So,
I
yeah,
don't do that one for obvious reasons. If you don't know me, I'm non-binary, and Elon Musk can get in a vat of acid like he wants us to do.
Yeah.
And I don't say that lightly. I know full well what I'm saying there. No, so I'm not on Twitter, but I am on Instagram, Threads. I know Zuckerberg's just as bad, by the way, but I have a career.
Yeah.
And you've got to pick your battles. So
Yeah.
I'm on
Pick.
Facebook mostly and Instagram and Threads. I'm also on Blue Sky and LinkedIn. And ashleyedge.poet is the best way to find me. That's my handle in all of them, as far as I'm aware. It should be anyway.
Perfect.
Poetic Edge
Perfect.
with Ashley. Yeah, that's a page as well. So if you want to come to my workshops, you can find me on Eventbrite under Poetic Edge, and you can find me on Facebook under Poetic Edge with Ashley. And I put all my links and everything in there and how to get tickets. Everything's free, pay what you can afford. So don't use money as a barrier. Come along, enjoy yourself. Do not worry about donating. You don't have to. I just want people to be inspired at the workshops and get something from it. And if they can afford to donate, fantastic, because that means I can buy some bread and milk. But it's all good if you can't. Get your bread and milk first, is what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? And still
Perfect.
come. Yeah.
Perfect. Great stuff. Okay, okay. That's all my questions. So we'll wrap up this part here. Everybody come back because we're going to do what we all do with the poetry nowadays. And this Ashley will be doing probably 2 poems next. And I reckon another poem too for TikTok as well. So thank you again, mate. It's been great today, this. I'm looking forward to part 2. We will see you all in 2 shakes of the dice.